Maine lawmakers could take up a difficult debate this January. On one hand, there's a demand for clean energy that solar farms generate. On the other is protecting habitats already threatened by climate change.
Conservation organizations, sportsmen, agricultural and solar developers, they are all working together now to come up with rules to minimize the environmental impact of the booming solar industry.
And as News Center Maine's Vivian Lee reports, some are pushing for putting panels on land contaminated by PFAS.
A little more than a year ago, one of New England's largest solar energy farms came online in Farmington. The nearly 500-acre array connects to the ISO New England grid, powering close to 17,000 New England homes annually. Representative Scott Landry represents Farmington. He says fencing around the project eliminated a longtime deer habitat.
The deer kill in town is way up, and we've got so many deer in Farmington because they've lost prime land.
Landry is the House chair of the Joint Standing Committee on Inland Fisheries and Wildlife, and he also sits on the Agriculture, Conservation and Forestry Committee. He supports clean energy, but not at the expense, he says, of important habitats already in peril by climate change. Landry, along with David Trahan, the executive director of the Sportsmen's Alliance of Maine, are pushing for wildlife habitat to be taken into consideration as more solar projects break ground in Maine. So far this year, regulators have approved more than 30 applications, some requiring the clearing of large swaths of forest land.
It's happening so fast, it's like the Wild Wild West in Maine, and our laws are not keeping up with the amount of development.
Currently, solar developers have to follow state regulations to minimize potential damage to protected areas such as wetlands, streams, and vernal pools. Trahan and Landry support adding forest and farmland to the process as part of new legislation.
We're not going to tell you you can't put in solar, but if you are going to impact those critical areas, then there's going to be a mitigation process to compensate and conserve other lands.
The proposal could also incentivize farmers and developers to build solar projects on land contaminated by PFAS chemicals that don't easily break down and that have been linked to serious health problems. The past practice of spreading PFAS-tainted sludge as fertilizer has resulted in hundreds of acres of farm fields, especially in the Fairfield area, unusable.
We've got to move ahead and take advantage of those lands that are not tillable.
Now, a coalition of officials from the Sportsmen's Alliance of Maine, conservancy groups, Maine solar farm developers, and state officials will meet in the near future to possibly hammer out the details of the bill. If a bill is drafted over the next several weeks, it could be introduced in the upcoming session of the legislature in January. In Augusta, Vivian Lee, News Center, Maine.
The coalition is expected to meet tomorrow at the Nature Conservancy in Brunswick. Environmental regulators are also considering how proposed solar farms will impact habitats by possibly restricting the movement of wildlife.